Hi guys, John, Common Sense Outdoors here. First thing I'm going to do is put some of this in this tin and get it on the fire, and then we'll talk about what was going on here. So, we just layered the bottom of that tin with that wood, and it's on a single burner stove there, just like you would do char cloth. So we've talked in the last few videos about tenders and making char cloth. Let's talk about the most reliable source for making sure you can affect your next fire in a survival scenario, bug out scenario, or if you're just in the woods for a really long time. So what I have here is a bunch of pieces of punk wood. And all that means is it's probably half to 3/4 rotten. Now, if I was to break open a piece of log and pull this out fresh, it would actually be really stringy. I could pull on it and pull off strings of it. This is, I pulled out quite a while back, and it's set out in the sun and is dry now. This other piece that I put in the tin is not quite as rotten as your standard punk wood. I don't know how well it'll show up on there. When it gets really punky, there'll be white spots. Probably see it better on that. So this is obviously punky wood, and it's pretty brittle. The reason I'm using this piece in the tin is I can get it to pull apart in pretty good chunks like that. So I've just layered the bottom of the tin with as much as I could fit into the tin. You see it smoking over there now. And to speed things up, I have another one that I've already done. And this tin, by the way, does have a 1/8 inch hole drilled in it. You see the smoke coming out of it. A lot of times that smoke coming out is gases, and a lot of times there just did it. The gases will get down by your flame or your heat and ignite. When I did the char cloth video, talked about you can try to light that where it's coming out of the hole. It's not quite wanting to go. It usually has to calm down a little bit first. So anyway, that's just the same way as doing char cloth. It's going to take probably about 11 minutes to char that punk wood, and when it's done, it'll look like charcoal. I talked about that big tin right there in my last video. I was doing an experiment to see if it would work without having punk wood, if I could use regular wood and charcoal it. And it's not quite as good. Didn't work like I hoped. So once it's charcoaled, you can get that camera to make sure you can see. Once it's charcoaled, and I don't know if I said it or not, but this tin does not have a hole drilled in it, and it still works just the same. Now that that punk wood is charcoaled, you see that? So what's the advantage of this? If you watched my natural tinders video the other day, moss didn't take a great spark. But obviously with a piece of char cloth, we can blow that moss into a flame. Making me work for it, isn't it? It's hot. Should be igniting. There it goes finally. That was hot too. Okay, so yes, if I was using some nice dried grass, that would have went way faster. So what's my point? Well, if you go out and you're in the woods, if you get yourself in a survival situation or not, what if everything's wet? What if everything has snow covering it? You can't get to any good dry grass. Well, there's going to be moss in the trees somewhere. And it may be damp. It may be just damp enough that it's not going to take a good spark. Okay, well, if we had char cloth, we might be able to affect that. But you see how long that took me to blow into a flame. My char cloth would have burnt up before I got that. The other thing is, punk wood you can find anywhere. If you can find a rotten log on the ground, you can tear it open and find punk wood. So I can make this charred punk wood in a tin for my next fire. Plus, it's renewable. I could have just as easily left that piece that took an ember in the tin and held my moss onto the tin and blew it into a flame and then lit my fire with that flame and then close the tin back up. It's still there, still able to use it. Once you use a piece of char cloth, that piece of char cloth is gone. And if you have to use char cloth enough times, eventually you're going to run out. Are you going to start cutting up your clothes? Well, you could have brought material with you to make more, but eventually, if it turns out to be a really long-term bug out situation or something like that, eventually you're going to run out of that 100% cotton material. So, and even if you had the cotton bandana, there's a lot of uses for that bandana besides charred cloth. I'd rather keep that bandana for all those other uses and use a renewable resource that is going to be there time and time again. Once I have this, I now have a firebox that I can open up anytime I want, throw a spark into, light my fire, close it back up, put it in my pack or my pocket, and it's there for the next one. It's ready to use again. This is definitely the way to go for long term. I'm not saying don't take charred cloth with you for the first fire or two, but once you get that first fire going, you should be thinking about doing this. And this one that I put on at the beginning of the video looks like it's just about getting ready to be done. Let me grab the girlfriend's pretty pink lighter again. See if it'll light like that. Oh, you weren't even looking. If this will light, see how it took flame? There it goes. That means there's still gases coming out of that. I'm not sure if you guys could see that. It's kind of far away. Let me just zoom you in from here. Let me see if it'll light again. Not sure if you can see that flame on video there or not. If it'll light, it still has gases coming out and it's not done. Now, it's still burning. I don't know if you can see that or not, but when that goes out, it's probably done. And you take it off the flame or turn it off and let it cool. When you can pick it up and handle it with your bare hands, you'll open it up and have what I showed you in the other tin. So, alright guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. More videos coming to you soon.